Oklahoma City. Okay, April 2022, a group of friends are celebrating a birthday at a local bar. They all sat down at the bar and ordered their favorite drinks to enjoy the evening and have a good time. But one of them would not make it out alive. How did this happen? Well, let's find out. The incident happened at the Iron Monk Bar located in downtown Oklahoma City. The bar is known for its delicious cocktails, friendly service, and great atmosphere. That's what makes it so hard to believe that this is where a woman would meet her demise. Victoria, age 41, was celebrating her birthday with a few friends. She was a loving mother of 3 who worked as a nurse at Mercy Hospital. Her friends described her as a wonderful person who was always willing to help others. On this night, they were celebrating her life and having a great time. But there was someone among them they didn't know, a man who would later be identified as Benjamin Robert Bennett. He was a married man with 2 kids who had just gotten off work. He sat down next to Victoria and her friends at the bar and they struck up a conversation. They talked about various topics and he even bought them a round of drinks. Everyone thought he was a nice guy. But little did they know he had a dark secret. When they went to buy another round of drinks, Victoria stayed seated while the rest of the group went to the counter. This is when the nightmare began. Bennett slid closer to Victoria and poured something into her drink. She didn't notice what he was doing because she was busy talking to a friend. When the rest of the group returned with the drinks, they saw Bennett standing up and moving away from Victoria. They asked him what he had done, but he denied knowing anything. Victoria took a sip of her drink and immediately her face turned pale. She started to feel sick and collapsed to the floor. Her friends rushed to her side and called 911. When the emergency services arrived, they transported her to a medical center in critical condition. At the hospital, doctors discovered that she had ingested a large amount of a cleaning solution. Despite their best efforts, she was pronounced dead a few hours later. The news of her death shocked everyone. The police were called in to investigate how this could have happened. They reviewed surveillance footage from the bar and it showed Bennett pouring a bottle into Victoria's drink. They also obtained the toxicology report which confirmed that she died from ingesting a cleaning agent. With the evidence against him, the police went to Bennett's house to question him. When they knocked on the door, his wife answered. She was shocked to see the officers and asked what had happened. They informed her that they were looking for her husband, but she told them that he wasn't home. She even invited them in to prove it, but they declined politely and continued searching for him. As they were about to leave, they noticed a brown bottle on the table. It was similar to the one seen in the surveillance footage. They asked the woman if it was cleaning solution and she replied yes. Realizing that they had found the key piece of evidence, the woman broke down and admitted that her husband had been acting strange lately. She said that he had been secretive and hadn't been sleeping at home. She also said that he had recently lost his job and had been drinking heavily. She explained that when she heard the police were looking for him, she tried to hide the bottle, but it was too late. The police thanked her for her cooperation and left. Meanwhile, Bennett was on the run, desperately trying to evade the authorities. He drove around in his car listening to the news reports about the crime. He knew they had enough evidence to arrest him, and there was nowhere left for him to hide. After a few hours, he contacted an attorney and agreed to turn himself in. When he arrived at the police station, he was greeted by a swarm of reporters. They asked him questions, but he remained silent and was quickly taken into custody. In the interrogation room, the police confronted him with the evidence. They told him they had a confession from his wife and that the surveillance footage clearly showed him putting the cleaning solution into the victim's drink. They asked him why he did it, but he refused to talk. Instead, he requested a lawyer and the interview ended. The news of Bennett's arrest spread like wildfire. People were shocked and saddened by what he had done. Many couldn't understand why he would target an innocent woman and ruin her life. Others said that he should be given the death penalty. As the investigation continued, more details emerged about the case. It was revealed that Bennett and Victoria had never met before that night. He had randomly chosen her as his victim. Police also uncovered that he had been planning this for some time. He had researched different ways to commit the perfect murder and had even practiced on animals. He had been fired from his job a few weeks earlier and was desperate for money. He thought that killing Victoria and taking her life insurance would solve his financial problems. But he had miscalculated. At the hospital, Victoria's family made the difficult decision to take her off life support. Her organs were donated to those in need and her body was cremated. A memorial service was held in her honor and people from all over the country sent their condolences to her family. Meanwhile, Bennett was charged with first-degree murder and was being held without bail. He pleaded not guilty and claimed that he didn't know the victim. But the evidence against him was overwhelming, and he was convicted in less than an hour. During the sentencing phase, the prosecution asked the judge to give Bennett the death penalty. They argued that he is a danger to society and that the only way to ensure public safety was to remove him. The defense tried to convince the judge to show leniency. They said that Bennett had no prior criminal record and that he had cooperated with the police. But in the end, the judge sided with the prosecution and sentenced him to death. Bennett was executed by lethal injection in 2023. As he was being led to the execution chamber, he made a public statement. He apologized for his crime and said that he was sorry for the pain he had caused the victim's family, but his words were too late. The victim's family was devastated by the loss, and they felt that justice had finally been served. After the execution, they released a statement thanking the police and prosecutors for their hard work. They also asked for privacy during this difficult time. This case shocked the nation and raised questions about how someone could be so heartless. Bennett was a seemingly ordinary man who had a normal life. He had a job, a wife and kids, and was active in his community. But beneath the surface, he was a monster. He had planned this murder for weeks and had taken every precaution to make sure he wouldn't be caught. But in the end, he was convicted and sentenced to death. This case serves as a reminder that we should never judge someone by their appearance. No matter how nice and friendly someone seems, they could be hiding something sinister. If you're ever in a situation where you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, you should trust your gut and get out of there. Don't stay around to find out what happens. Your safety is more important than anything else. Thanks for watching. And please subscribe if you haven't already.